Welcome back everyone to the Hello World Guide. This is another episode of the Advanced Platformer series, and today's video is going to be a short one. And all that we are going to basically do two things in our game here, and both are related to looks. First of all, we'll add a background which is fairly simple. We'll just go under Sunnyland here that we did artwork, and this kind of looks weird, an astronaut in a grassy environment, but of course you can replace this sprites with whatever you like. Not sprites actually. I'll go under environment, and you can see we've got this background which I'll attach to our main camera. You can see we have got that, but the problem is that I'm going to locate it at 0 and it's a bit too small, so we'll have to make that actually let's make it 8 or 6 perhaps. Yeah, let's make it 6 by 6. That looks pretty good, and we are attaching the background to our main camera, and now it will always look like the background is following us. So let's go ahead and try that out. So let's see. What you should see is that wherever we go, the background is always with us. So yeah, that's pretty awesome, I guess. And now the next thing that we are going to do is that we are going to go here and develop an animation for this switch. So currently, if I go ahead and press the switch, you can see that it's not really that interesting because the switch just flips normally without any other changes. Yeah, it's a bit boring. So let's go ahead and implement an animation for that, and this won't be a sprite based animation, it will be like a different animation. So let's select the switch here, and what we are going to do is we are going to go ahead in here, and we are going to go ahead and press Ctrl 6 to open up the animation window, and we are going to put this here, and we are going to select this rotate, and to begin animating, you can see it says create an animator and an animation clip. We'll create that, and what we'll do is we'll place it in our animations, and we'll just call it switch, for example, and we'll just name it that. And if I go under project/animations, you can see we have got this animation controller. I'm going to rename this as well to switch because both are for our switch. It's going to contain only one animation. We are going to select the switch and turn the actual animation, and we are going to stop making it looping, which means it's going to play and then it's going to stop and stay there. In here, what we'll do is we'll right click and create a state which is an empty state. Now this state we are just going to rename this to something like default, and you can see this has no animation, which means by default there will not be any animation playing, and we'll right click and set that as a layer default state, and we'll make a transition here. For this, we'll change the transition duration to 0, and we'll go ahead under our parameters and add a triggered parameter. A trigger is basically like something you can trigger, pretty obvious from the name, and we are going to rename this to something like just for example let's just call it turn or press or whatever. Turn, because it's going to cause the switch to the actual handle to turn, and we'll go in here, and under this we'll remove the exit time. Instead, what we'll do is we'll add in a single condition which is called turn, and whenever this trigger is set, then our turn condition will basically execute. So that's pretty awesome, and that's pretty much all we need to do here. And what we'll do is now we'll open up this switch animation. Now for the actual animation, I'm going to select my rotate, and I'm going to press this button here. This starts the actual recording. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set this to -40. Then I'm going to go ahead and go till like 1 second or maybe half a second. We don't really need to make it a whole second, I guess. And then what we can do is we can turn this to 40. And this is going to create the animation for us. So let's go ahead and see if that works, and you can see that the animation does work, and I think that the length and speed are just about right. We're going to stop the recording now, and you can see this is what the animation looks like. It's pretty awesome. So now what we need to do is we need to of course edit our scripts to adapt to this new system that we have created. I'm going to go under assets/scripts and open up the switch script. Now in here, all we need to do is, instead of changing the rotation and doing what we were doing previously, we'll have a serialized field which we'll call animator, and that animator will just take that and set the trigger on it, and the trigger, if you remember, is called turn. And let's just actually let it open up Visual Studio, and then let's go ahead and put that code where it belongs. So you can see we have got this. Currently we have got like a transform here. We are going to remove that, replace it with an animator, not an animation, by the way. That's a different thing, as you probably know. And I'm going to just call it animator, for example, nothing else. We are going to remove this that we have got here. Instead, what we'll do is we'll say animator dot set trigger like that, and the trigger that we want to set, it's going to be let's just yeah, we called it turn, so let's put that in here, and let's go ahead and put the semicolon as well, and that should do this. So it's going to set that trigger. That trigger is going to prompt our animator to go ahead and basically just display that animation, and that animation does not loop. So after it completes, it should just have the switch at its other state, and it should be working pretty well. So let's go ahead and see if Unity has actually compiled it. Let's go and clear the any problems that it has got. So let's go under switch. You can see it currently has no animator. I'm going to open up the prefab actually, then I'm going to select rotate and put that here. And now what we can do is we can go under game, and I can play, and what you should see is that our switch is basically it can do what we want it to, and it now displays itself in a much more interesting looking animation. So if I press E here, like E, you can see that it does display the animation when it's turning, and after that it just stops. So yeah guys, that is pretty awesome, and that is pretty much it for this video, and we just improved the looks of our game in this video. But in the next one we are going to make our switch trigger different things in our scene, and then we'll perhaps make a system for, you know, going ahead and like shooting this gun that we have got here. So we're going to do that in the future videos, so stay tuned for that. Make sure to like and subscribe as well so you don't miss the next one, and I'll see you in the next one, and bye.